each other's breath. Okay, so the reason you're getting a really weird intro, first up, I'm Lou. This person next to me that's laughing is Callista, is because we have had a lazy morning. I'll recap that in a second. But then I was like, what is this smell? And right before we started, she was eating these, like...
crackers. It's everything but the bagel crackers.
Okay,
from Trader Joe's.
and literally it smells like an everything bagel, but when you smell the cracker, it doesn't. So I was like, well, I'm getting like this like oniony odor, like what the fuck? And then I just said, I was like, well, it might be you, you're stinky. And then she's like, no, I smelled the crackers. I'm sad we didn't get this on like footage for you guys.
I put the bowl closer to her. I'm like, smell the crackers, it might be that. And you're like, it's not that.
It's
because
not that.
to be fair, when you smell the crackers, they don't really smell like anything.
No.
At all.
But it's the craziest thing, because I think the flavor's like locked in them, because then I sniffed your orange juice. That's what she's got in a coffee mug. She's not drinking coffee.
I'm not an adult.
Like some of us. She's drinking orange juice out of a coffee mug, because she's not an adult. Oh, my chair is so creaky. And then I smelled her breath, and then genuinely her breath smells exactly like an everything bagel.
It was so funny.
It's
I was like,
nuts. I didn't know that that's what those crackers were called.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And
now
then
you
she
know.
was like, oh, no, I'm so embarrassed. But if we would have hit record before, you would have gotten, like, my snoot in her mouth.
You would have gotten the whole journey. My snoot in your mouth. That's so weird. The whole journey of that. And I was like, fuck, let me put in an Altoid really fast. But to be fair, we've been sitting in front of the equipment for like 20 minutes now, just shooting the shit, not talking about anything. And now we decided to record.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Welcome. Tattoo Homewreckers.
Tattoo Homewreckers.
Which is a bit confusing, because now we have, like, multiple companies. So then I'm like, wait, we're Tattoo Homewreckers right now. We're not Cali Lou's. Like, I'm not really sure how, like, big CEOs that have, like, multiple divisions, like, handle it.
Oh, you know what we could do? We could pretend like they're not sister companies and that we're rivals instead.
Oh.
Tattoo Homewreckers.
Tattoo Homewreckers. Here, we come in and we do your homework for you.
Exactly. Tattoo Homewreckers versus Cali Lou's, which, by the way, if you haven't followed us on Instagram, please find us on Instagram, Cali Lou's Tattoos. If not, don't worry about it. It's whatever.
Well, no, I'm glad you do that, because I'm really bad at that. Like, anytime people come in, I want to, like, the back of my head, the moment they leave, the back of my brain is like, you should have asked them to write a review, because reviews do help. But then my brain can't think of it until they leave, and then I'm like, well, you can't just send them a message and be like, hi, please
write a review.
Write a review. And I'm no good with the like, subscribe, all the buttons that are places, and like the algorithm and all. I'm fucking garbage with that.
I'm sure the more I'll do it, the more comfortable I get with it. But even signing off on like the vlogs, which if you guys haven't tuned in, we have a YouTube special. Every Tuesday we release a vlog of the process of opening Cali Lou's. So also watch that if you want to. If not, no pressure as well. But yeah, I'm still getting used to that part, because I was like, oh fuck, I have to film like an intro and an outro, and now like because the first one's done, I don't have to do any of that. It's just very simple, easy. Yeah. But anyways, we want to talk about, speaking of working on spaces and interior things, we want to talk about interior design.
Yeah, I know that we've previously talked about interior design, like about like how important it is to create spaces, but through like just over the last week that we've been open, that's right, the studio's been open for 1 whole week. We have a 1-year-old baby, 1 week old baby.
1 week old.
And so we've been talking to people about, or more accurately, I've been talking to my clients, because the interior design of the studio was largely like my vision. So we've been like talking about it and about creating like a different space, because if you've seen anything to do with our studio, it is not your typical tattoo studio. It is indeed, I don't know, it's pink, it's green, it's bright, it's airy. There's like lots of open space, but it still somehow feels like cozy.
Yeah.
Which was the plan. And I say somehow like it just magically happened, but really there's a lot of like, I guess, science behind it. And if you understand the science behind interior design, then you're like, oh yeah, this makes complete sense.
There's
That's
a lot
why
of
you did
thought
this.
that goes behind it. Not only the thought though, because like I feel like people can, use the science behind it, but the energy isn't there, and the energy is there with us. Where it's like you walk in and like you want to hang out, Yeah.
That's the hope. So I was talking to a client about it, and I realized that like it would be good to talk to like you guys, because if you know me, you know that interior design is a huge part of like something that I enjoy. I watch a lot of interior design programs, and I'm not just talking, like, granted, I do watch Queer Eye, because, like, Bobby Section's one of my favorites.
He's the best.
but I just watch a lot of them like playing in the background so I can get inspiration. And I was talking to a couple people this week about like, oh yeah, I really want to like work on my house or my apartment. And I realized through talking to them that if you're not really into interior design, you don't necessarily like know where to start. It can be super intimidating if you haven't painted before, if you don't know like what it is you necessarily like, or even like how to get started. So I was talking to a client and I was like, look, you want to start with the feeling. Like, how do I want to feel in this space? And this applies for your office. Like, I don't understand why we don't decorate offices more. But like for your home, for any of that, is starting with like, hey, how do I want to feel? And then start cultivating images that make you feel that way.
Yep.
And just to be very clear, the whole like following trends with all of like when it comes to interior design, it's all fucking stupid. It doesn't matter. It's a lot like your clothes. If you feel good, if you like it, that's all that fucking matters. Like
100%.
when I had a client he loves Pokemon, so we were talking about like he just got a Pokemon rug, and I was like, okay, so we could just pull colors out of that, and that's how you take like a room and make it like essentially, and I say this in air quotes because it's all fucking arbitrary, but like high end is you have like a focal piece that you can pull colors throughout, and then as long as you stick in those colors, much like a tattoo, it all blends together.
Right, it's like a theme at that point. So you want everything to be cohesive, same thing as your outfit, if you're going for a more cohesive look. And people can throw a bunch of colors together, but a lot of like really successful streetwear outfits have like what at most like 3 main colors. And all of a sudden you can find all those colors in every part of the outfit. The accessories, your shirt, your overcoat, your pant, your fucking sneakers, and right down to your socks even, or your like bra. You can also accessorize your bra where all these colors like kind of match. You want to do the same thing with the room, which makes sense. You're bringing it all in. I love the idea of a Pokemon themed room.
Well, and that's what we were
now
talking
I'm like, what type
about.
of Pokemon? Because I want to know, like, are there purples? Are there like oranges?
Well, the
Are
rug
there,
that he showed me, I don't know what that Pokemon is called, but there were definitely like purples, and I'm like, yeah, you can absolutely bring those in, and then it was a little bit cooler of a purple, so bring in cooler colors. But also like you kind of have to see the space as well to like know, like for us when we had the original building, I knew that like I was gonna bring, because it was like a longer space, and like bringing in more greenery, and then like, and it only had the windows on one side, whereas now we have the windows on both sides. So like when you walk into a space being like, yes, this is what this space like wants and calls for, but it's also like I personally think a massively underutilized tool is Pinterest. Like everyone's always on fucking Instagram, which is great, and I'm sure there is an entire like interior design section of Instagram. I don't have that. Like that's not what I'm following. I'm following mostly like health, wellness, queerness, and then like different like cultures, so that way Instagram becomes a little bit more like for me educational. But like Pinterest, oh yeah, Pinterest is like where it's at. So like the triangles that we have that divide our booths in the studio came from a designer who did that with a bedroom. So he had like 2 beds, like 2 single beds, and then divided the room like that. And that's where I like took that inspiration. I was like, that would be perfect for dividing the space and creating like booths, because that's where the same as like what we did downstairs where you paint. I particularly like angles as opposed to like boxes. Just there's some weird noise happening outside, so if you guys can hear that, I don't know if that is. But yeah, like I'm very angular when it comes to those spaces to like subtly section off, because I'm not a huge fan of walls. I definitely like a more open space, which is why we have the big open space in the studio, but then those like the lobby section off through the front desk. But everything's very angular for me because I'm not a big fan of like, oh, it needs to be rectangles.
And we can talk about how, I mean, interior design is everything, right? It also seeps into like life stuff. So when you're talking about different apps are for different uses, like some people use Pinterest for, they might use it for health and wellness or information gathering, and then their Instagram algorithm is centered towards interior design. Because there's like, so I mean, everyone talks about TikTok, and when you're on like, oh, the queer side of TikTok versus the straight side of TikTok. And then you could also find yourself on video game TikTok for a little bit and blah, 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 blah. So, like, already intrinsically and, like, subconsciously we're zoning off certain platforms in the way that you would zone off rooms as well. So, I've noticed a change in my personal Instagram versus my professional Instagram. My professional Instagram is all art. It's all content-based and tattoo-based. That's all I ever see on my feed. And then my personal Instagram is straight up just memes, right? Because it's like a fun place for me to exist in. You want to think of the same way as like your house or even a room. If you have like a section of room that you have to share with someone. Again, how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel more funny, more creative? Do you want it to be a little bit more serious because you're doing more work in and you're, you don't want to be too comfortable in the space that you're like, I don't know, doing a fuck ton of work in? Or do you want to like just kick back? There's no wrong answer. If you're more productive if you're a stay-at-home worker and you're more productive being more comfortable, that's awesome. I personally can't. I have to put myself in a different room if I want to get work done. I can't put myself in like my bedroom, because my bedroom is where I go to play video games. It's where I go to sleep. It's where I go to like scroll on TikTok. I can't get work done in my bedroom. It has to be in the office or like in a library.
And I can't use this office to do work whatsoever, because there's a big window here, and then and I have to have like the window open when I'm in here, and then once the window's open, nah, dude, I am just like the cats across the street. I am just watching shit out the window. I am not paying attention.
I love a window when I'm working. Like, it's the weirdest thing, right? So there's no wrong answer.
Yeah, because I can't, a window, I love the idea of a window, but I am very easily distracted. So, like, if I need to, like, seriously work, you will find me in the closet. Because there are no windows.
Right.
It's got the sound dampening of the, like, cloth of the clothes. And it allows me, it's a small enough space that I have to focus, and it takes like distractions away from me. That being said, the closet has to be clean, which is annoying, because then if I need to work and I've just chucked the clothes on the dresser, then I'm like, fuck, I have to fucking sort this out first.
Yeah, present.
But I have to sit on the floor. I can't sit in a chair because I'm entirely too wiggly in a chair.
Yeah, and again, there's different, like, and that's not to say that, like, in your life you'll have different phases. Like, sometimes I can work in a chair, and sometimes it has to be on the floor. For the most part, it's always in a chair. But I can draw on the floor, I've noticed. I can't do anything else on the floor, though, because then I'll just do nothing. So there's no wrong answer. How do you want to feel in your room?
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is starting there and then just gathering and having a centralized place. Because I think that's the worst part, is that people will find random shit everywhere, and having a centralized place, which is why, like, for me, that's Pinterest, because you create boards and you say, hey, this is it, and then it generates its own content from there, as opposed to, like, for me personally, Instagram doesn't work as well, because when I click on a, like, reel that has interior design that I really like, it doesn't automatically generate more reels in that same genre when I save it to, like, whatever the fucking category is you save shit to. It doesn't generate more of that, whereas Pinterest generates more of that, and you just get to see other creative people. Now, I understand the, like, hypocrisy of the fact that I am taking these other people's ideas, and then I'm also not putting any shit on Pinterest. So I'm a little consumer, and I'm not adding shit back. But whatever, fuck it, I'm too lazy to.
Here's the thing, is, like, I think a lot of people forget that, like, you add shit back into the world by having these conversations, so you're still adding stuff into the bank.
Look at you being nice.
No, I'm saying, like, even having that conversation with your client, you could have easily just been like, oh yeah, that sucks that you're not into interior design, and then cut it off there. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You were still putting, like, content or, like, I would say, I don't know, emotional cash into the bank by making this podcast or talking to your client about stuff. Because a lot of people will just hear, like, yeah, I'm not really into it, but I got this. And then they just leave the conversation at that, instead of being like, oh, no, here, how can I help you?
I think for me, it's that, like, okay, but, like, why? And it's not why as, like, a, hey, I'm better than you because I'm into this. But when someone's like, yeah, I'm not really into fitness, then I like to know why you're not into something that, like, is a huge part of my life.
Oh, yeah.
The same reason why someone's like, dude, I fucking love video games. And I'm like, I have no, like, it's the whole thing about being a hiker. I really want to be a hiker just because it sounds great, to, like, be out in nature. But I know that intrinsically at this stage of my life, I am not a hiker because it is my day off. And instead I wake up on the couch because I watch TV super duper late, fell asleep on the couch. And then we turn to each other and we're like, oh, do you want to watch an episode of The Fall of the House of Usher? And then we come in here and we record. And then we have another podcast that we're on later today that we're recording for. So at no point is my brain like, it'd be great if we took time and went on a hike.
Yeah.
No, because I'm not a fucking hiker. But I like the idea of, like, hey, whatever I'm into, like, expressing that with other people, the same as I want to know what it is they love about stuff and also why. Because I think that so many interests that we, like, steer clear of is because we're like, oh, fuck, that's a big undertaking. That's kind of scary. So, like, there's a big learning curve with that.
Or it wasn't, like, the cultural norm, right? Like, growing up, realizing that, like, I was in an environment where the whole world was out to get you. You're always in danger. And that being, like, physically harmed was the worst thing that could ever happen to you. But I've always wanted to, like, skateboard. I've always wanted to, like, go camping and do all this stuff. But it just wasn't in the norm. So, yeah, a lot of people will just focus their interest in what they're comfortable with instead of trying new stuff.
Well, that's what my client was saying, how he's like, well, I grew up in a house where I was never allowed to, like, put holes in the wall. And I actually had a couple clients I was talking about this with. And it's like, yeah, I had that same thing. Like, you couldn't fucking poke a hole in the wall. You got massive trouble. If you taped on the wall and it damaged the wall, it was, like, this big thing. But for me, it's really healing being like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, if I own this house or, like, the building that we're renting, I know how to patch a fucking wall. So you learn how to, like, I'm very much on the side of, like, learn how to fix something first. And then you can fuck it up all you want because you can fix it. Oh, no.
Oh, hello. That's okay. I'll keep them entertained. One of our lights is going crazy. Look, we're having a little tattoo homeworkers rave right now. Yeah, no, when it comes to, like, interests and stuff like that, you also, in interior design, have the opportunity to display your interests, because I grew up in the same kind of household where, like, I was not allowed to decorate my own room. Everything that I wanted to put up had to be like, cleared by someone in the house, whoever ran the house. And gosh, what am I trying to say? I didn't have any freedom in being able to express myself in interior design. So once we, like, you know, moved in together, and it was like, no, we could do all these things. Like, what do you want your room to look like? What do you want it to feel like? I finally was able to choose, like, the bold colors that I've always wanted to live in. I got to paint a section of my, like, wall black. Well, technically you painted it black, but I was like, I want a diamond here, and then you made it happen. It was beautiful.
Oh, I thought you did it.
No.
Oh. I have no recollection of that.
No, a lot of and, like, you put up my wallpaper and everything like that, which was really nice. I think it was mostly because A, you wanted to get it done, and B, I was, like, I was just working a lot, and so you went ahead and did it. So I appreciate that. That was very nice of you. But it's an opportunity to kind of work out those, like, I guess, boundaries that you've been placed in your entire life. And don't get me wrong, I'm still terrified every time I have to drill a hole in the wall. It's scary because I haven't had to patch the wall yet. I've never learned to patch the wall, but that shouldn't stop you. Interior design is everything.
It can be really clear. Drywall putty, your finger, done. That's it.
And
Well,
that's
I
it.
guess more accurately, you take, like, the end of a screwdriver or something that's slightly rounded, you push that on the hole so that way there isn't, like, this, like, I don't know, blown out fucking asshole on your wall. So you make it an innie, and then you just put drywall
You make it
putty.
an innie.
Yeah. Drywall putty. Let that dry. Tiny bit of sandpaper.
And then you just paint over it?
And then you paint over it. And
Nice.
then no one can tell. Well, you
Super
can do a
easy.
little tutorial video on your wall where there's a million fucking holes. Because that's the other thing, you guys. Behind, like, hanging up stuff that's perfectly straight, there's usually a shit ton of holes. No one's getting it
Totally.
right the first time.
Yeah.
So whoever tells you that you have to get it perfect the first time, they're a fucking liar.
It's at that point, it's just part of the process. It's the same thing as, like, you can't expect, like, a sketch to be the sketch, right? And then you're able to
Yeah.
perfectly pull painting out of that. A lot of the times, there's a lot of adjustments. There's a lot of things you scrap. There's a lot of things that you realize that you need. And so it's the same thing with interior design.
Yep.
Just drill the damn hole.
Yeah, we painted our dining room downstairs yellow.
Yep.
And then we realized that it looked like a beehive.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the vibe we were going for. And then we just painted over it. That's it. Like, I think that's the thing that's crazy to me is that people get really intimidated by paint. And I'm
Yeah.
like, just protect your floor. That's, like, the biggest thing. You're going to splatter. If you use a roller, it's going to splatter. It's going to leave this fine little mist of drops. So just protect the fucking floor. And then you can paint over something as many times as you want.
Yeah.
And there's so many videos.
It's crazy because I get intimidated too, but, like, we literally permanently paint on people's bodies for a living, right? And it's still intimidating, but the more you do it, the better off we'll be. And to connect it with life stuff, also, we wanted to kind of talk about like the, I guess, hesitation to decorate or hesitation to make your space your own, because a lot of people are, you know, I guess like limited by time, where it's like, no, I only have like a year lease or a 2-year lease or whatever it may be. And I had told you that like I don't understand that concept either of like not decorating because you're out there in a short period of time, because if you think about it, life is just a sequence of short period of times. So why wouldn't you want to utilize that short period of time to its fullest potential, right? Decorate the place, put a little bit of effort into it, and like go home to a place where like you feel like, I don't know, you feel comfortable, and you start your day and you end your day in your place. You would want it to be a sanctuary to you and to just you. That's the most beautiful part of it too, is like you want your home to just please you because you're the one living in it. Fuck what everyone else thinks. If you want to fucking completely paint your house black, fucking do it, dude.
Well, I think I was talking to my client about this, and the thing about like interior design is that somebody's not gonna fucking like it. Let me be really clear. Our house in South Carolina, I wanted to have it like, because it was a really big house, but it had like taupe colored fucking carpet, which if you know me, you know I hate brown. It's the worst color to decorate with. It just makes me so sad. Because there's an entire rainbow of colors you can fucking decorate with, and you choose brown. It's the safest fucking thing. But it was this taupe colored wallpaper, and I love like aquamarine. That's actually one of my favorite colors. So I did our house these different shades of aquamarine. So the largest room was like a darker shade, and then you went like down the hallway and rooms got smaller. They got lighter of that same exact shade. So that way it created this like continuity, but not like everything's one color, but also allowed the hallway to like look bigger and brighter than it was. And my sister-in-law came over and looked and had this like face of absolute disgust and was like, this is a really interesting color for a house. And all I thought in that moment was like, you're not my kind of person. And to be completely frank, she wasn't my kind of person. And that's okay. Because like the colors she wanted to decorate her house were literally shades of brown. And so like your house displaying your personality, much like your appearance displaying your personality, is a great way to find people that vibe with you. Because like now our friends that come into our house, because our house is a bold fucking statement, the entire half of it is black. I love it. It's great. We don't have kids, so I don't have to worry about like, well, I mean, you and Caboose leave little grubby handprints, but like, I don't know. It's not a big deal. You wipe the fucking wall. You clean it. It's not that big of a deal. It's like laundry. It needs to get washed every once in a while. That makes it sound like I don't wash my laundry very often.
Like every once in a while.
But yeah, like your house then gets to like allow people to be like, hey, this is who I really am. And if you're drawn to that, great, we will get along. When you walk into our forest themed bathroom and you're like, this is amazing, we are probably going to be the same kind of people. If you walk into our bathroom and you're like, what the actual fuck is going on here? I am probably going to be too much for you. You are probably going to be too much for them. They're going to be like, what the fuck? No, we're not going to vibe. So allowing your space, even if it's a temporary space, to really show your personality really just allows people to be able to see you and be like, yes, this is my kind of person.
Oh, totally. And it's, I don't know, it's one of those things where, not to get like super morbid with it, but you don't know when your last day of Earth is. So like, I don't know, I would just like to be in a place where I know that I did everything I could do to feel comfortable in and like own up to myself. And that's why it's important to decorate even if you have a time constraint. Because again, your life is just a series of small moments, so you might as well just do it.
And there's just so many options. So if you're like, oh, well, I have a rental, to be completely clear, if as long as you say, hey, I will like just give me the paint color for the original like rental, you can then paint it right back. And even though you think that a year is not a long period of time, it is a long period of time. Like, yes, the years go by quickly, but they're going to go by much fucking slower if you don't love where you live.
Oh, totally.
Like, it's just mind-boggling to me because I've never lived in an apartment that I haven't decorated because temporary wallpaper has existed for fucking ages now. You can also, like, very easily dress up a place just with, like, I'm a big person for like big statement walls. So taking a curtain rod and putting that in front of your wall and hanging curtains, like big, like luxurious, like velvety curtains. They're not super expensive anymore. So you grab those, and that has completely changed the feel, especially like a bedroom, to make it like just like nice and like scrummy and like luxurious. Yeah, dude, there's so much shit you can do for not a whole lot of money that creates this like feeling when you walk into a room.
I mean, there's a whole subsection on TikTok that's just renters interior design. So if you, like, there's this guy on TikTok that, like, blew up because he would, instead of, like drilling holes or anything like that, he would just build stuff around his, like, kitchen or his doorway to make a different, like, doorway or, like, stuff like that. And there's so many things to do and so many ways to consume knowledge on the internet because, again, I think that's the biggest thing is if you want to make it palatable to you, it'll be easier to digest that information. And I think a lot of people get stuck on like, well, you know, when I Google it and I read this article, like I'm just instantly uninterested. And I'm like, just make it interesting then. It's like food as well. Consuming information doesn't have to be hard. If you're more of a TikTok person, go and literally just search interior design TikTok, and then that information is all of a sudden so much more easier to consume, and it's so much more palatable to you. So...
And if you hate it, that's okay.
That's also okay.
Yeah, you can absolutely just redo it. You can be like, no. And, like, if you're anything like me, I think our living room downstairs, we haven't, like, changed the layout of it just because the space and, like, the furniture we have very much dictates that. But it still, like, sits really well for me. Like, I like the, like, overall feel of it. But we also decorate for the holidays, so that helps keep it fresh for me. But it's the longest I've lived somewhere where I haven't rearranged all the furniture multiple times.
Yeah.
Because that's my, like, ADHD is that I'm like, I need this space to be completely reversed for me to, like, sit happy with it. Whereas that's like, okay, I can throw, like, different blankets. But I'll, like, typically rearrange everything so that way it keeps it fresh.
Yeah, totally. I would do that with my room, but my bed frame is just not, she's not moving anywhere.
Yeah, we did kind of fuck ourselves with most of our furniture in the house, that most of the stuff in the house is like, no, we designed this for this space, and now it's like, well, we're kind of stuck.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, again, it's one of those things where the best part about being an adult is being able to change course and say no to things. So if it's really a thing, then we'll change course. That's totally fine.
Yep.
If the bed frame was a really big deal to me, I would just get a new bed frame. That's like, period. That right? But I'm not going to do that because I like my bed frame. And if that's where it goes, that's where it goes. So, well, I think that's about it as far as...
No, I want to talk about your makeup on your clothes right now.
Oh, okay. How did you want to link that to interior design? Oh, we were talking about clothes earlier.
Yeah.
How you want your house to feel as comfortable as you do in your own clothes. And hopefully your clothing is something that, like, you want to wear and you feel confident in. It's not something that your parents want you to wear, or not something that your friends want you to wear. Because I see a lot of people get stuck in on that, too. That, like, niche of, like, well, you know, like, I was just raised wearing this stuff. I'm like, try something different. But, you were like, yeah, we're going to talk about this.
Yeah, that was like, we're wearing just, like... whatever
our
clothes.
Lazy Bones days clothes. Yeah. And then I was just like, whatever. I feel fucking amazing in my Nike hoodie covered in foundation.
And you guys can't see it so well.
It's covered.
But, like, yeah, then there's, like, on the sleeve.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shit, I did not notice that until you pointed that out. That,
I need to go to Ulta and get new foundation because this is not doing it for me. I literally put gallons of fucking setting spray on. And there's still foundation. I switched foundations because the one that I got was the wrong shade, the one I typically use. So I switched over. And now I'm pissed. It's getting all over my clothes, but whatever. I feel confident. I love this hoodie, foundation covered or not.
I'm wearing Cabooses shirt. Because I'm not trying to wear clothes that are form-fitting when I'm having a lazy bones day.
I know.
Yeah, but I just wanted to talk to you guys about interior design and about how, like, it's important to create your own space.
It's important
in this world.
To put effort into things, to put effort into yourself, really. I think that's the hardest thing is, like, we've, especially in, like, American culture, been conditioned to work for the company that you've been hired for and put yourself aside. Work for everyone else. Be a good friend. Be a good daughter, son, I don't know, offspring. Be a good sister, brother, sibling. But, like, honestly, at the end of the day, you're the only person that lives in the fucking house that is your brain. So just work on yourself, dude.
And I think that, like, a way for me to kind of revamp that, like, when I was trying to be like, okay, I'm a chronic people pleaser, because that's been a matter of survival my whole life, was that, like, if I make myself happy, I can then be a better wife, a better friend, a better, like, partner for anyone. And, like, that's where those spaces, and I know that I keep drilling this in, but you guys, like, having a space, like, where you can truly be yourself is massive. Like, we've been spending the whole week in the studio talking about that, about, like, how creating this space that you feel safe in, because that was my whole point, was I wanted it to feel safe and happy. And the amount of, like, clients that have also noticed that, and then we will turn to each other and be like, wow, isn't this amazing that, like, things that typically felt really hard don't feel hard. So that's why it's important to create those spaces for yourself, so that way you are able to show up as a better version of yourself, because you don't have this, like, oppressively, like, plain white box that you live in, or this, like, depressingly dark space, but that you get to, assuming it is depressive to you, our living room's fucking black, and I think it's great. But, like, whatever you decide that's not your vibe, to cultivate a life that's full of spaces that are your vibe. So that way you are then able to show up fully as yourself and be a better person for other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we say that, like, art is everything, interior design goes under that. It's everything. It's the difference between whether or not you, like, feel confident going in and doing a test. It's as simple as that. Like, that can make or break it. You know?
Because we went into that fucking government building, the health department, and it is so depressing in there.
Yeah, like, I would fucking hate my job.
Yeah, and it was clear that most people hated their jobs because that building was horribly depressing.
Yeah, there was no lighting, and I get it because it's a big building, but, like, most of the rooms that we went in, there's no natural light coming in. It's all fluorescents, and then not only is it all fluorescent lights, but it's also fucking just gray and drab, and, like, oh gosh, it was.
And don't get me wrong, your girl loves gray. I think gray is a great color. It's actually one of my favorite colors. But, like, holy shit.
Yeah, and if gray's
paint a mural, dude,
that's fine. Like, but again, like, when it comes to your house, like, just pay attention to the way things make you feel. You know. But yeah, I think that's all I needed to talk about with interior
all right, perfect. Design. We forgot because we had started out with me sniffing your breath. What does your gender feel like today?
I think my gender feels like Princess Warrior, but I just fucking want a day off. Like, I don't know why. I couldn't sleep very well last night. So she's been, like, crushing it, doing fine. She still has a ton of shit to do, she being me. But I just really just don't want to do anything. I'm having a no bones gender day. That's what my gender feels like. What does your gender feel like?
A blob.
Yeah.
I'm also no bonesing. I guess more accurately, I feel like a big pile of blanket. Like, I feel cozy and happy. But I don't want to be folded. I'm fine with being draped somewhere. Totally. But, like, I don't want to be shoved in the closet. I just want to, like, be flopped on and be snuggled with, and that's it. So I'm a giant, fluffy, unhide blanket.
Yep, we are in the same.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If I'm being completely honest, we have time before we have to leave the house. We're probably going to watch another episode of television.
Probably.
Because it's, y'all, the Fall of the House of Usher.
So good! Oh my god, if you haven't seen
There's 2 episodes that are kind of campy and, like, and almost lost us in the beginning.
Keep watching.
Yeah, keep going.
You just keep going.
I just got so excited. I'm choking on my spit. It's fucking so good, guys. That's another show. The interior design, so good because it literally reflects every single character in it. The lighting, iconic.
Oh yeah, when you go
iconic.
When they show you the characters' houses, it literally reflects their fucking personalities. It's so interesting and so cool to watch. So yeah, interior design is important. What's your win for the week?
Oh fuck, I had a good win. I thought of it yesterday. No, it's gone. Hold up. You start.
My win for the week is just being patient with myself, because I feel like for the past few months I've really just been beating myself up over not being, like, as productive as I want to be or as, like, useful. And no, literally, that's why, like, people are like, what are you talking about?
We've been so productive.
Yeah. But that's a weird workaholic part of my brain that I'm still working through, is, like, well, now that we're in a space where, like, we can breathe and relax, like, I don't have to constantly beat myself up anymore. And I was talking to my therapist about this, that, like, if she explained it really well, that, like, I'm in a dance with, like, guilt, right? A dance with, like, shame. And I had told her that if I'm not dancing with either one of those things, then what am I doing? And she's all like, would it be horrible to just live? And I was
You're
like, wow, that's
dancing with
everything.
yourself then.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, that's my win for the week is sharing that, but also, like, realizing that, like, I don't have to dance with either of those things anymore. I can dance by myself alone in my room, which is my favorite thing.
I love that. Oh yeah. So my win for the week that reminded me, because I thought of it last night, that I was like, oh, you have to have your win. And my win for the week is the fact that, like, obviously we've gone crazy for the last couple months.
Yeah.
Wow, my hands look really big right now.
Oh, mine kind of
Yeah, yours do too. That's crazy. They usually are in a hoodie and they look like those little tiny midget hands. But yeah, like typically I will work myself to a point of exhaustion. And so my win for the week is that when I'm tired, I fucking rest.
Iconic.
So like this morning I was like, I could answer a whole bunch of emails and like get into the fucking swing of stuff, and instead I have one important email, which is our food truck, and then I'm like, I'm watching TV, dude, until the very last second when we have to leave to go record. But otherwise, like, no, I'm resting, and I've still been flirting with the getting sick. But if it was, you know, a couple months ago and I was in that, like, other job, then I would have fucking gotten pushed to the point where I just get ill. And I've spent my whole, like, life doing that, where I've, like, pushed to the point of getting ill and have not had, like, a consistent time where I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna rest. I'm tired, I rest. I fucking close my laptop, I'm like, I'm gonna take a nap. And, like, that's been my win, is, like, over the last week, even though there is still a lot to be done, and we still are doing a lot, I have prioritized rest.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it feels easier. I don't have, like, guilt over it anymore. I'm just like, well, I'm tired and I'm not trying to get sick.
I'm working on not having guilt over it, for sure.
Well, I do have 12 years of, like, doing that to myself on you. So you're still, like,
still in it.
Crushing it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I do my best out here.
She's just crushing it. With her makeup covered hoodie.
Fuck yeah. It's genuinely, the camera doesn't do it justice. It's covered in fucking brown foundation, but whatever.
Brown. I don't know why you said it like that.
Oh, because, like, that's my thing, is, like, fuck, dude, I just don't, I love my skin color. I've worked a lot on that, but, like, the foundation shade really bothers me because it looks so orange on not me. You know what I mean? Like, on my skin, it's, like, perfect, it works, but then as soon as it gets on my, like, closet door or, like, my fucking clothes, I'm like, fuck you, it's so orange.
Yeah, but I think that, like, all foundation does that.
That's true.
Because mine, I'm like, oh, this is really pretty, and mine's fucking technically porcelain.
Yeah. And it still looks so stark on your clothes.
Yeah, it, like, touches, like, I wore a white button-up last night, and it, like, touched the edge of that, and I was like, oh, good God.
Yeah, right?
I was like, that is fucking orange.
Damn. Pisses me off, but okay.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay, so on that note, foundation's orange, not on your face. And then we'll see you guys back next week.
Yeah.
I think we're going to do a funny episode. We were supposed to do a Halloween episode today, but ain't no one got the energy to read Halloween stories. So I hope you guys have an amazing Halloween. Eat plenty of things that make you happy. If that's candy, yes. If that's broccoli, yes. And then we will see you in fucking November!
Can we believe that we're in November already?
Well, we're not technically in November.
Well, you know,
this won't be November when this is out. November will be next week's episode, where we get to talk about fucking Thanksgiving. Not the stupid holiday, but just the food. The food is the good part.
That's the good part.
The shitty part of the holiday, absolutely not.
I can't wait for this holiday season because I'm putting my foot down. I don't want to be stressed anymore. No stress during Christmas. No stress during Thanksgiving.
I mean, I'm not doing shit on either one of those days.
No,
I'm not leaving the house unless it has to do with Cole and Rachel. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking sleep. I'm gonna eat food.
We're gonna hang out.
I want some fake turkey.
And we'll talk about that as well.
Yes.
So.
Perfect. Okay. We love you guys. Thank you so much. And we will see you back next week.
Bye.
Don't forget to watch our shit.